Hello, dear ones. Hi, hi, hi. I am recording this for those of you who weren't able to make it live or anyone who is wanting to watch this experience again. And in the jumble of yesterday, I forgot to record the live session. So what I decided to do was simply to recreate the experience most specifically for folks going through it in a self-paced way. So I'm kind of talking directly to you in the time and space that you're receiving this. And this also gives us a chance to move past the places where we went into breakout groups and just focus on your experience. So, hi, welcome, hello. I am so wishing I could give you a hug and that we could be in person together. You know, this is a hard week, a hard time. It's very different than what I thought when I was originally hosting this session. Quite frankly, I did not know that we would know this type of news so quickly. So the orientation of this is really to care for some our tender hearts and for grief and for all that you might be feeling, just giving you a place to welcome it all, to welcome what's here, to welcome some spaciousness and breath and support into your body and your nervous system, to offer you a little chance for movement, for some expression, and for some reconnection to your inner fire, to what you care about, to what matters for you, for what your grief and your rage and your heartbreak might be protecting, might be showing you. Your feelings are so sacred and so important and matter so much. So, this is really a place to be with them. So, as we get started, I just invite you to create the most nourishing space possible for yourself. Maybe that includes lighting a candle if you're able. Maybe that is also bringing a bowl of water or a vessel of water over. This water can help us hold our grief, can be a place that we pour what we feel and all that we're moving through our hearts can help companion us in that, can be a receiver of the grief, of the pain. And if you're able and you want to create a really cozy nest with blankets, with pillows, I so encourage you to do that. To grab some water or a tea, anything that just helps you feel 1, 2, 3% more comfortable. Please offer yourself that. You deserve nourishment and you deserve care. And if you're doing this in a space where none of that's possible, that's also a-okay. That's also a-okay. As you are is perfect. So as we begin, I just invite you to take a moment to maybe take in a really deep breath. Maybe feel your feet on the ground. Maybe just notice the ground beneath you. Maybe notice if you're resting on a surface, what it feels like to have that surface beneath you, whether it's a couch or a chair or a bed or the floor. And maybe also just noticing that beneath the floor of where you are is the earth, or maybe you're standing on the earth right now directly, and just welcoming your connection and that sense of support from the earth beneath us as well. And so just taking a moment to land, to create a little space from what you were doing to where we are now, and to just arriving here together. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for being you in this world. Thank you for who you are and all that you're feeling. It really matters that you are sentient, that you are alive, that you are feeling what you are feeling. And so I just want to offer that this is the place to feel it, to create some space and some sanctuary to be able to hold it safely together. So, as we set up a little bit of this time, I want to just invite that this is a place to practice caring for ourselves, for reaching towards connection within ourselves and then with others, because that care and that connection is our resistance, is an act of the opposite of what it feels like might be rising in the world. And our ability to practice care, to practice connection means so much and makes such a difference. And that muscle, building it is going to be so important over this next period of time. So this gets to be our place to practice care, to practice nourishment, and to really root into our innate dignity and the solidity of who we are. So as we go into somatic work, something I always think is really important to invite is that your body knows best. And we're here to really practice trusting and listening to your body and to your body's knowing. And sometimes there might be a prompt that I offer that feels different than what your body wants to do. And if that's the case, great noticing. And the practice becomes just trusting yourself, trusting what your body knows and needs, and allowing that to be your guide. So that's the number one and most important piece is trust for yourself, trust for your body and your body's knowing. We're also really here to practice a sense of innate dignity, giving that to ourselves, letting ourselves really feel it, notice what it can be inside the body so it can take up more space, so that we can also practice offering dignity and respect for others' dignity in the world. And we're also practicing acceptance and suspending judgment. This is a place where there is no right or wrong way to feel, way to be. This is a place where we accept what is here. We practice accepting. And maybe we get curious about what's there. And we bring our curiosity as well as our unconditional love as best we can to ourselves, to our bodies. And we're also going to bring in a few other practices. So those are some values of how we treat ourselves, treat our bodies. And we're also going to do a little bit of practicing, especially from a somatic perspective, around recognizing our limits. So we might notice if something's feeling really overwhelming in our bodies or as an experience, do we need to take a step back from it? Do we need to honor that there is a limit there and we need to take a step back or take a breath or shift our attention? Or if you have your eyes closed, maybe it's just opening your eyes and taking in the world again. So practicing your limits and practicing not overriding the body as much as possible, which is a great practice to bring back out into the world, especially these days. And we'll take practice, of course. So this is the space for practicing, recognizing those limits. And we're also going to practice something called pendulation, which is moving towards more difficult experiences and then moving away towards something that's resourcing, and maybe moving towards something that's challenging and then away towards something resourcing, and finding this rhythm of being able to approach what's maybe more difficult to be with, and then moving back towards support and finding the rhythm that exists when we move between. And that rhythm can be grounding, can be resourcing in and of itself, so that we don't stay and override our system and we bring in some support as we need. And that's also a great tool if you want to practice to bring back out into daily life of, okay, I'm noticing I need some more support. I need some nourishment. How do I go reach for that? So those are a couple of the pieces that we will be practicing. To begin, we're going to bring in a little bit of support first. So we're going to start with anchoring in a sense of support. So to do that, I'm just going to invite a couple exercises. The first being, you want to just get yourself into a comfortable position. And we're just going to take a few deep breaths together. Maybe starting with a big cleansing inhale. And exhale. Sigh. Another big cleansing inhale. Maybe feeling your lungs expand and exhaling, emptying out. And one more big cleansing inhale. And exhale. And then maybe allowing your attention to find a sense of gravity. Maybe closing your eyes if that feels good. Maybe noticing the feeling of your body pushing down on the surface where you're resting. And noticing what the quality of that surface beneath you feels like. Is it hard or soft? Warm or cool? Is there a particular texture that you feel? And just allowing your senses to take this in. Maybe noticing what it's like to be held by this surface. And if you feel a sense of support, what is it like to let this support in? Are you able to receive just a little bit of that support, letting it in, or as much as you're ready for, letting it in? And maybe noticing what happens in your body as you do. And then perhaps noticing if there's any particular place in your body that feels grounded, that feels supported, that feels alive, or even neutral. Any place that is large or small, wherever that might be for you today in your beautifully unique body. Is there any place that feels pleasant, that feels neutral? Just noticing where that might be for you. Maybe resting your attention there for a breath or two. And just letting yourself settle there. And then maybe noticing if there is a particular image or memory or felt sense that comes to mind that's particularly nourishing for you. If you were to invite in an image or a memory or a sensation that is particularly nourishing for you, what might arise? and just trusting whatever might come. Just noticing what that is, what it feels like as it comes to mind. And again, letting your body just settle there for a moment. Maybe taking a deep breath or two. And then slowly and gently bringing your attention perhaps back to your physical body, back to the feeling of gravity, perhaps back to the sensation of the surfaces beneath you, or the feeling of the earth underneath. And just gently inviting yourself to slowly return at your own time and pace. Taking some breaths. Maybe just noticing how you feel in this moment. Honoring that you can return to either that particular quality, sensation, part of your body that felt supportive, or neutral, or an image that feels good anytime. Or maybe it's the sense of gravity or the feeling of the earth beneath you, but just inviting some of those as support. And taking some breaths, just gonna gently start to move towards the moving connection with the body. And I wanted to drop in a couple other pieces that could be good practices, whether through this session or that you can take out into your life, that might be soothing for your nervous system. One is exactly what I'm doing right now, which is swaying. Swaying can be really supportive for some of us. There's a reason we do this with babies, because the swaying motion can just have a really soothing quality. So that's one thing to play with. Just letting your body rock or move or sway. Another might be to just feel your own physical sense of touch. And there's a particular hold I learned in one of my trainings that was one arm under your armpit and one arm around your shoulder, just offering a nice sense of self-containment, a hug, and letting yourself receive that, letting yourself receive that support. You might place a hand on your heart at any point, especially if your heart is feeling a lot, is carrying a lot right now. You might just invite a gentle hand on your heart. And if you place your hand on your heart, maybe you just notice, what is the sensation of that feel like? Can you feel the warmth of your hand? The quality of that touch? Can you feel the pressure of your hand on your heart? And can you let a little bit of that support in? Other things might be rubbing hands, rubbing your hands on your legs, all things just to play with at any point if they're useful. And again, just a reminder, choose your own adventure, trust your body, and listen and see what arises. So now we're going to move into a little moving meditation. So I'm just going to reorient and I'm going to stand. So when you are able, if this feels right, we're just going to do a little standing movement. And so to begin, I'm actually going to invite us to do what one yoga instructor that I've paid attention to, some of you might know, Yoga with Adriene, calls knocking on heaven's door. It's just allowing your arms to swing, to make contact with your back body, and just letting yourself unfurl, letting yourself unwind, letting yourself release. Maybe taking a few deep breaths as you do, and really allowing yourself to just drop in and let go. If you want to speed up, you can speed up. You can go at whatever pace feels right to you. Yeah, just wringing out, letting yourself twist and release. Maybe 5 more seconds. Letting yourself come to a gentle stopping point. And if at any point you want to continue, you can press pause and keep it going. But now we're gonna gently bring that to a close. And then maybe invite a little bit of shaking. This has been intense, an intense week, an intense time. And if it feels right to do some shaking, let's just give us a moment to do a little bit of shaking. Shake it out, letting your whole body get into it. Shaking, 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 shaking your legs. If you want to let out a sound, let some sounds out. Shake it out. 5 more seconds. Shaking, shaking, shaking. Giving yourself a chance to release. All right. And again, you can pause and keep going for anything that feels right. If you're ready to move forward, we're also just going to do some gentle, gentle waking up of the body. So beginning with your toes, coming into various joints. This exercise is just a chance to kind of come into different touch points in the body. So maybe starting with your toes, maybe wiggling them around, seeing if you can bring your attention into that joint, into your toes. What is it like to embody them? And then coming up from your toes to 1 second. Sorry, quick change of location. So we're going to pick up from your knees. So coming into your knees, maybe moving your knee joints around, maybe shifting your knees back and forth, seeing what it's like to embody the joint of your knee. Letting your knee swing, move in whatever direction. This can also be done sitting. If you prefer to sit, you don't have to stand, you can do this sitting. Just letting your knee shift. Now we're going to come into your hips. So maybe noticing the range of motion in your hips. Noticing what it's like to embody the joint of your hips. Maybe that's swinging around. Maybe that's swiveling your hips, just bodying your hip joint. giggling if you feel silly, but allowing yourself to move and take up that space in your hips, maybe getting wide. And then coming up to your spine, maybe with some more twists, feeling your spine. Taking some deep breaths. And then coming up to your shoulders, noticing your shoulder joints, maybe doing some shoulder rolls, perhaps noticing if you feel like you've done a lot lately of this, maybe exaggerating that movement, letting it drop, exaggerating that movement, letting it drop. And then allowing that motion to move down your arms into your elbows, into your wrists, your hands, your fingers. And then maybe getting your whole arm involved. Starting to feel your full extremities coming online. And then maybe now incorporating your neck, maybe with some neck rolls. Perhaps just turning your neck one way. For the last bit, just allowing your body to move, maybe incorporating a bunch of different movements all at once. Again, you might feel silly, but just giving yourself permission to move, to inhabit your body in any way you feel the desire to move. Bringing in all the different parts you've woken up. And maybe allowing any gentle stretching as we come to completion. And just taking a couple more deep breaths as we start to bring it back. And then we're going to bring in a little bit of mindfulness. So from here, I'm going to invite you to find a comfortable position, to find a comfortable place, maybe with some pillows, maybe with some blankets, giving yourself some rest and nourishment. And we're just going to begin to let your attention drop inwards a little more. So from here, we're going to do a little more of a mindfulness-based practice. And the invitation is always trust yourself, trust your body. You are going to be invited to close your eyes if you want. You can also keep them open at a soft gaze. If there's a lot happening inside the body, sometimes keeping our eyes open just lessens the intensity. So you always have choices. Just letting your attention rest and drop. Maybe allowing your eyes to close. And as you do, maybe dropping back into that sensation of gravity. And allowing yourself to notice the surfaces beneath you. Noticing what it feels like to have a couch or a bed or a chair underneath of you. Maybe there's something at your back. What's it like to have something there at your back? And in fact, if you'd like to shift so you have something at your back, or you want to lie down, you're invited to do that. Just bringing in more and more support, more layers of support. Just noticing what it's like to have the support beneath you or behind you. What is it like to let that in? Maybe allowing your attention to drop back to a place in your body that feels supported, feels supportive, that feels grounded or pleasant or neutral. Where might that be for you today, right now, in this moment? And letting your attention just rest there, noticing your breath. If you notice thoughts at any point coming in, that is so human, so normal, especially in this moment of time. I'm just inviting a practice of noticing, observing. If you're able, like you put a book back on the shelf, just setting it aside for this bit of time and allowing your attention to come back to sensation, to come back to the feeling of the breath or quality of whatever sensation you're with. And that is the practice. And so from this place of ground or support, inviting in anything that might feel differently than that, anything that might feel more challenging, more difficult, more heavy, more tense. And as that comes into your awareness, or maybe there's a few things, we're just going to practice welcoming them. We're just going to practice saying hello, saying hi, I see you. You're welcome here. You don't have to change. You're welcome here just as you are. Maybe inviting your breath to companion you as you say hello to these sensations. And then allowing yourself with that acknowledgement to perhaps just practice shifting your attention back, shifting your attention back to anything that feels supportive or grounding in your body, anything that feels pleasant or neutral. And letting your attention rest there again. And then maybe inviting in that all of these feelings, all these sensations can exist at once. We can feel many things at one time. That is so human. That is so welcome. That is so normal. And just practicing, seeing if in this moment we can expand to hold all that is here within you. Just permission it to be, to let it be okay. To know that all of you is welcome here and we can be with it. We can be with it. And so maybe taking another deep breath in and out, perhaps returning to a place of ground in your body, perhaps returning to the feeling of the support that's beneath you or at your back. And perhaps allowing your attention to just slowly and gently begin to return to the space where you are. Letting yourself know that you can return at any point to anything that's there, to anything you notice. And you can stay connected with yourself and with these parts of yourself. As you return back, you can also release or let go anything that you are not wanting to carry with you. Anything that you're ready to just let roll off. So taking a few more deep breaths in and out, allowing yourself to be returning to the space where you are. Maybe you visually orient again to the room and just take in anything with your eyes that feels good to look at. Maybe it's a color or a texture. Maybe it's an object in your space, but just letting yourself take in whatever's there that feels good. And then as you return, the invitation is going to be to acknowledge maybe once more what you were feeling as you did that check-in with yourself and invite any reflection around particular sensations that were nourishing or anything you've noticed so far from these practices. Is there anything that you've noticed is particularly nourishing for you, whether it's a movement, place in your body, a sensation? Maybe it's an activity you would like to do, like taking a bath or going for a walk or letting yourself just sit and be in nature, listening to birds, listening to the fire, allowing soothing noises, sounds, music to be in your space. And maybe take a few moments here to just reflect on any nourishment that you might be needing more of over the next few days, over the next week, over this next period of time. Is there an extra layer of care or support for your body, even if it's 30 seconds every few hours of deep breathing or looking at the clouds? Is there something that you and your body and your nervous system need a little bit more of to feel supported and nourished over this next bit of time? One thing I've also been practicing is just another tool to drop in is box breathing, which is where you breathe in for 4, hold for 4, out for 4, hold for 4. Breathe in, hold, out, hold. And you can kind of continue that pattern. It's something simple to do while you're making a meal, waiting in line, taking a walk. It's been a small piece that I've just started adding a little bit more of for myself. Or looking out the window. I think we especially often need to give our eyes a screen break. So maybe this is a good invitation to just take a look away from the screen right now. And if you can look out a window, look out a window. If you can't, maybe just look at something that feels good to rest your eyes on. Just 5 seconds, 20 seconds, as much as you can. Just dropping in a few more pieces and giving yourself a chance now to reflect on what is it that I might need a little more of over these next few days. If you want to make a note, maybe you make a note. If you want to share with a friend, maybe you share with a friend. And I am going to record a part 2 for this that includes another exercise that I want to offer around checking in with your creative self, checking in with your own heart and your vision and your creative fire. And so just to give a couple of pieces, look out for that second part when you're ready to go into that element. But as we close this piece, just invite you to take another moment to maybe feel your heart on your hand on your heart on your hand. And maybe see if you can notice the beat of your heart inside your body. Feel it pulsing. And letting that heartbeat tell you that you are alive. Just resting with that for a moment. That sensation of your heartbeat, the knowing of your aliveness, the knowing of the gift that is. And maybe taking a few deep breaths into that. Letting that be a beautiful reminder of what's right here, right within you in all moments. And another practice is to just linger with what feels good. If there is a beauty in that reminder, if there is a soothingness in that reminder, just practice staying with that for a moment, letting ourselves be in what feels good a little bit longer, orienting ourselves there as a practice. And to close out this piece, I want to read you a poem. So maybe if your hand is still on your heart and you're listening to your heartbeat, I want to invite you to just receive this poem as I share. It is a radical gratitude spell by the brilliant Adrienne Marie Brown, which I'll share a link to. You are a miracle walking. I greet you with wonder in a world which seeks to own your joy and your imagination. You have chosen to be free every day as a practice. I can never know the struggles that you went through to get here. But I know you have swum upstream, and at times it has been lonely. I want you to know I honor the choices you made in solitude, and I honor the work you've done to belong. I honor the commitment you made to that which is larger than yourself, to your journey, and to love the particular container of life that is you. You are enough. Your work is enough. You are needed. Your work is sacred. You are here, and I am grateful. You are here, and I am grateful. Just taking another deep breath in and out. Just want to say you are here, and I am grateful. Thank you for being here. Thank you for choosing to care for yourself, to feel what you're feeling. And you can return to any of these practices at any point in time. Feel free to reach out to me if there's anything that comes up as you go through this and want to ask questions or share, you're welcome to. And if you'd like to do the second piece of a little check-in with your creative spirit and energy, a little journaling, I'll include that as a second piece. But for now, I'm sending you so much love and care and extra nourishment and support, extra sanctuary space, extra acknowledgement for what you're holding and experiencing. And there's interest in potentially some more of these sessions live. So if that's interesting to you, let me know and I'll keep you posted. But love you. Take care. I'll see you soon.